Hey guys, this is Restless Gamedev, and today we're going to cover DS List. This is an intermediate tutorial, so unless you're at least comfortable working with data structures, variables, and the GameMaker draw system, please save this video for later, watch some of my other videos, and come back once you've learned a bit more about GameMaker. Last warning, it's about to get real nerdy real quick. Alright, here we go. So first we have to plan out what exactly we'd like to create. Luckily, this tutorial was made in response to an awesome comment I received from a previous video I had made. Here, Drawful asked me to make a tutorial on showing blocks of a DS list, and since I've already implemented this in my game GunQuest, I figured I'd help a fellow programmer out. For this example project, I want an inventory list that I can scroll down and only shows me an arbitrary number of items. With this knowledge, we can create the variables we need to accomplish this task. For this project, I've made a single object named OBJInventoryMenu. Starting in our Objects Create event, the DSListCreate is simply initializing our list, and then we're adding a few random names as elements to that list. The selected variable is what index we're positioned at in the list. Frame size represents how many elements we can display at one time. Frame pause represents the current position of the frame header, which will not be less than 0 or exceed the number of items in the list minus the frame size. And for a basic system like this is all you need. So let's move on to the step event. Our step event is fairly straightforward. We're checking if we've pressed up or down, and if we have, attempt to shift the selected index and our frame. First, we move the selected value within the bounds of our list. We're adding the value within a clamp statement, which makes sure it won't be lower than 0 or exceed the number of elements we have within our list. This guarantees the rest of the statement is dealing with a selected value that is valid. Next, we frame shift. This means that if our selected variable exceeds the bounds of the frame, we must move the frame to match our new location. However, if the frame itself would exceed the bounds of the list, we don't move the frame. This simple logic allows us to move the frame up and down our list and follow the current index we have selected. After that, we have an optional piece of code that creates a flare effect if our movement was valid or not. This is mainly for teaching purposes, but was extremely useful for implementing this code into my game and testing it again while coding this tutorial. Finally, moving to our draw event, we have two different draw codes for this project. The first is to demonstrate how the data traversal works for the DS list, and the second is the actual code that would be used to accomplish the true inventory effect. Normally, these variable names would be a bit longer to enhance readability, but for this tutorial, you should be able to gather roughly what's going on here. In our first draw, we're drawing every single element of our list and highlighting certain aspects of the list such as frame position, selected element, and members of the frame. In our second draw, we're only drawing what's in our frame and use our frame position to change the behavior of our draw. You'll see what I mean here in a second. When running our game, you can see that the names are being properly displayed, and we can scroll up and down our list. The yellow elements represent our frame, the green element represents our selection, and the orange element represents the frame header. We can also see that when we move up against the boundaries of the list, we can't exceed the boundaries, and if we attempt to, our flare turns red, showing us that we're attempting an invalid movement. This is cool, but if we want to take this to the next level, we need the frame position to stay constant and not display the entire list of items. So, I'll toggle the realistic implementation, and as you can see, we can scroll, and the frame follows our movement. However, unlike before, the frame remains in the same position, but we can see our selected position shifting, along with showing new elements of the list. This is closer to what a menu system in a game would look like. Keep in mind, the step event did not change here, we simply modified our draw event to properly convey what we wanted to show the player. Thank you again to Drawful for suggesting I make this video, and if you have anything you'd like me to cover in the future, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get it done. My channel is full of great tutorials, so if you're interested in improving your programming skills, check them out. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.